Hi, I'm Karen and I'm the Organising Lady, and welcome to my small kitchen storage ideas. I wanted to talk to you today about this cupboard, which we had custom built. This cupboard is actually the depth of 2 glasses. And yes, I did get my carpenter to actually measure it exactly. And I wanted it to fit everything as best that we could with what we had and what I knew that we would be using going forward. So even if we did break a few, then I knew what I'd be replacing them with. One of the things that we did was we changed all of our stemmed glasses to stemless. So that was really helpful. And also we just made sure that we had a limited choice. Now this actually might feel like a lot of glasses, and for some people it would be, but it's not as many as we had before, I can assure you. But what we've done is we've used the best use of space. Like if we're having a family celebration, we have a chair at the end of the table. I wanted a cupboard that was sort of shallow depth and that wouldn't get in the way of the table and for someone to be sitting there. So that was just like for the glasses. And we have things like storage for our coffee and water bottles. They're all down there. And then up here, I've got some crackers. One of the things I like about having my crackers in here is they're not in that little bit of the kitchen. So it kind of stops me snacking on them all the time. I have to really consciously think about coming over to get them. And then we've got like everyday glasses. And these are the glasses that I'm quite happy for, like my friends who've got children, or my grandson will come over and I'm quite happy for them to go to this one and just get out what they want. Have coffee in here. Now, this is something that I bought that I kind of wished I almost hadn't. So I don't know if I really even should be divulging this to you, because I kind of feel like it was a bit of a fail on my part. These are double-walled glasses and they're for hot drinks. And what I'm going to do is probably just introduce them to our everyday stuff, because we tend to drink our coffee and tea out of a mug. So that's a really good tip, is to really think and consider what you think that you will actually use and not just purchase them on a whim. Okay. And then in here, we had to cover the electrical box. So that was another really good reason to have something that was accessible for that and that they could gain access to. We've actually got the meters in behind here. So I've got like just our placemats, and then I've got some outside table runners, and sometimes I use them for here. That is all the storage I've got. So I can't have loads of table linens. You know, I've got the space that's here. Yes, I've filled it, but I can't have any more, nor will I. This is it now for us. The carpenter made it. So yeah, no, this was custom built for us. And I even measured the shelves. So even the height of all the shelves, we measured all the glasses so that you could comfortably, like, you know, we didn't want it too low because I didn't want to be constantly hitting the shelf. So we had it done so that, you know, we could put everything on there. Same for on here. And in this cupboard, the other thing I should say was, because this was like almost like a little waste of space, I have my laptop. Sometimes if I'm talking to clients, I will sit at my kitchen table. This is really good. This window, I've got lovely light here, and it just feels really nice and warm with the sun shining through the window. So I have the plug socket, and I have all the USBs and everything that I need so that I can run my laptop and my phone, ring light, everything there. It's just a really nice, quick, accessible space. So, you know, that's like my little small home office, right? And look how small that is. It's just that tiny little space, and I use the kitchen table as my office. So a space like this is perfect to create like a storage wall. I'm a real fan of this kind of storage. You know, just because you have a small space, like we didn't really have enough space to have what I would call a standard kitchen cupboard, which would come out to here. You know, don't discount, you know, being able to have something that is literally shallow depth. I have almost an identical cupboard, but it's mirrored in the downstairs bathroom, and it's the depth of a toilet roll. That's all it is, but it just means that everything's not out on show. So I've got things like the loo cleaner and any sort of chemical things in there, spare hand soaps and all of that. But I've also got like the toilet rolls that are stored in there as well. And another really good space saving tip is to have push open, so that you don't have any handles. So when you've got a limited space to walk through, and maybe there's 2 of you or kids running around, when you go by, you're not catching your jeans or your top or whatever. So that just makes so much sense. The other thing that we did, because the fridge is positioned quite close to the cupboard, so we've got the little rubberized buttons there, and one down the bottom, so that if anyone opens the door who doesn't live here and maybe isn't used to it, they're not going to whack that, and even if they do, it's not going to damage the fridge because these will dent really, really easily. It's just one of the failings of this kind of stainless steel fridge. So it's just little tiny things, just being mindful going forward, that keep everything looking nice and in really good condition. So when we were thinking about what we would be having on this side of the kitchen, because we actually took this wall down, we were just going to have a cupboard, like they wanted to do just a boxed in cupboard over the electrics, and then behind here where this hole is, that's where the meters are, and they just wanted to do a standalone cupboard. And that was why I thought, well, if they're boxing that in, we might as well take it across the room. I mean, it's not gone all the way to the window because that would be imposing. It would also go across the window because obviously the window's here and that would stick out too far. So it's just finding that absolutely, like, that sweet spot of getting it so that it looks like it's meant to be there. And then we've just put some like decorative finishes at the side, and hopefully it looks, you know, really good and it works within the room really, really well. And that's it. And if you'd like these quick little tips, then like and subscribe.